What if Trump's so-called reciprocal tariffs and his sudden pause on them are just a wild 4D chess move to shake up the entire global financial system, sending markets on a stomach-dropping roller coaster ride up, down, all over the place, dropping one day, pumping the next. We're always one tweet away from euphoria or despair. Absolutely crazy. Face-melting rallies, for good and bad, are happening left, right, and center. So what if the real goal here is to build a whole new world order, playing flip-flop games while your portfolio gets whiplash, trying to bring everybody in the economy to heel around his agenda, around an American agenda? We're talking about crashing economies, a shady Mar-A-Lago Accord, and a wild plan to reprice gold that could totally shock the entire global economy. And while the world's going up in flames, the United States might, of course, just be the one to come out on top, or at least that's what Donald Trump is betting on right now. So let's dig into this crazy plan and see what it means for your money and your Bitcoin stash. Now, Trump's Liberation Day was launched on April 2nd. Markets did not like it. Very, very negative reaction. A waterfall in stocks, some of the worst days ever in history. Pure chaos. The S&P 500 fell more than 10% in just 3 days. Wall Street's worst crisis since the Corona beer pandemic. The Magnificent Seven stocks lost over $1 trillion in market cap in the first session following the tariff announcements. It was pandemonium. The only 3-day period that dragged stocks lower: 1987, 1998, 2008, 2011, 2020. Basically all the worst crashes in market history in the USA. Good job, Don. Now look, these tariffs will be the highest in a century if they ever push through. I know there's been a lot of walk back, okay? Most countries will only get a 10% tariff, and those deals will probably be negotiated down to 0% in total free trade. China's got this big thing, but what we're looking at is a once-in-a-100-year event economically, regardless of how it ends up playing out, and we have front row seats to it. And I know that Americans have been promised that they are getting, they're going to be so tired of winning, but the vibes here are a little bit non-winny here, Donald, okay? It's been a bit crazy recently, a bit confusing. The market is very uncertain. These past few days, we've seen equities and crypto drop, and just one announcement of a tariff reprieve, and we're so back, baby. Literally, the S&P 500 pumped 10%, which it doesn't do that. That's insanity. That's just trillions of dollars. Crazy. Except for China, of course, they didn't get any reprieve. They actually jacked tariffs on them to 125%, which is brutal. Markets went wild. They rallied insanely. NASDAQ had its literal second best day ever in history. Best day for the S&P 500 since September 2008. A massive turnaround from previous days. But here's the thing. This flip-flop might be exactly what Trump wanted. Is he toying with markets? Is this his 4D chess move? Force allies into line, set the stage for something bigger, kneecap the major geopolitical competitor, which is China? Well, before going down that rabbit hole, guys, I know you're trading the cryptocurrency markets. I know you want a great place to do that. I know that some of you don't have a good option depending where you live. Check out Femex. These guys are an OG cryptocurrency exchange. They've been around for years. They have deep liquidity in all the big pairs. That's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. They list all kinds of hot altcoins too. Here's the deal. Anybody, anywhere can use Femex, okay? So wherever you are in the world, just click on that link down below. No KYC. Go enjoy yourself. Deposit some USDT. Have fun, start trading, because look, it doesn't matter what the market's doing. You can long the rips, short the dips, and you'll even get a free $100 trade when starting your Femex account. All you need to do is deposit $10 or more, make a $1 or more trade, and then you'll get a $100 trading position. You can use that to trade Bitcoin or whatever and keep all the profits from it. Basically free money. Go check it out, link down below. So now let's talk about the Mar-A-Lago Accord. You see, there's a lot of talk about this so-called Mar-A-Lago plan. This basically is something that's supposed to fix several issues, including issues related to the United States economy, United States debt, and massive trade imbalances. This rumored accord, which was named after Trump's Palm Beach pad, was dreamed up in a 2024 paper by Stephen Miran. Now, here's the deal. Stephen Miran is the current chair of the Council of Economic Advisors. That is a government office that formulates economic policy for the White House. So you bet your ass that this is at least being discussed, and that our portfolios, our economic destiny, to an extent, is in the hands of these people. Now, before we tackle what that accord is all about, we have to understand that the U.S. is in a desperate situation right now. They have a ticking debt time bomb, one that is just gotten worse and seen this can infinitely kicked down the road. $37 trillion in debt. That puts the country's debt to GDP ratio at 122%, which is bad news bears. $9.2 trillion of this debt is maturing this year. That's a lot of debt. But the Mar-A-Lago Accord has a radical solution to that. By the way, debt's now the number 2 expenditure item on the government's spending list. Crazy. Anyway, so similar to what happened with the Plaza Accord back in 1985 when the G5 tanked the greenback to boost U.S. exports, it dropped the DXY by 40% in just a few years and increased exports by 20% in 2 years. So this Mar-a-Lago Accord, what's it all about? Well, it has many key components, and one of them involves swapping out maturing U.S. debt for longer term debt. And to be more specific, replacing these expiring instruments with 100-year non-tradable zero coupon bonds. This means that instead of giving fixed interest, the face value will be discounted. So for example, a $1,000 bond can be had for $200, but it's redeemable at the full $1,000 value just in 100 years' time. This strategy aims to reduce immediate interest payments on the federal debt, which have become significant financial burden for the USA. However, it essentially kicks the can down the road, but it gives America 100 years to figure out what the F to do about this giant debt problem. Future generations, it'll be their problem. Current generation, kind of screwed right now. I mean, they imagine all the debt that was taken on to pay for dumb shit, man. You got to pay all the money back. Now, another key strategy is weakening the US dollar to make American exports more competitive globally. Now, America primarily exports services, but they do want to bring high quality manufacturing back to the country. Now, the Mar-a-Lago Accord is also advocating for protectionist measures like tariffs to incentivize companies to set up shop back in the USA because everyone wants access to US markets. They're 1/3 of global consumption, okay? And looking at what's happening right now, maybe this accord is being implemented without us even knowing it. Now, there's also some potential good news here for the gold bugs. The accord isn't just about debt and tariffs. It's also looking to reprice gold to tackle imbalances. You see, the United States could revalue its gold reserves. Currently, this is insane, by the way, in case you didn't know. Currently, America's gold, and they have the biggest gold reserve in the world, they're priced at $42 an ounce. Today's market price is over $3,000 per ounce. Now that would boost the value of US gold reserves to around $800 billion, which could make the balance sheets look a whole heck of a lot better. But rumors right now are swirling that repricing the gold could get even crazier. You see, some people say gold might actually hit $20,000 per ounce. That would then value US reserves at over $5 trillion, an absolute game changer for debt management because a higher gold price would also then lay the groundwork for a new monetary system, something like a modern Bretton Woods agreement, which of course totally shook up the financial world back when they did it, thus anchoring global trade to tangible assets and stabilizing markets. The BRICS group, by the way, on the other side of the aisle from America, they're talking about doing something very similar. But here's the problem. Nobody has seen or confirmed that the U.S. still actually has its 8,100 tons of gold inside Fort Knox and the other gold vaults. They hope it's there, but there hasn't been an audit in 50 years. Trump said that he and Elon are going to go check, but that was a few months ago, and nobody's been there yet. Why not? Have they discovered something fishy and it's too controversial and too dangerous to share? America's broke, they have no gold, and they can't let anybody know. Tariffs are also causing Wall Street a lot of headaches, so you can force factories to come back to the USA, right? But raw materials largely still need to be imported, and yeah, they just found some big rare earth mineral deposits in like Texas that could meet all of the US's needs, but it's a global economy, man. Supply chains, they take a long time to move and to build factories. Like take microchips. Even if they're made in the USA, which the Taiwan Semiconductor Corporation said with Intel, they're going to create a US chip plant so that they are made in the USA. But those rare earth components, you know, they need to be mined. And yeah, there's a big mine in Texas, but you need to actually get down there and build the infrastructure and get the machines in the ground and all that kind of stuff. It takes time, man. Countries like China, they can just restrict those exports, which they've already done. In fact, Beijing already slapped export restrictions on rare earth minerals to the United States, squeezing the West's supply for tech and weapons because, yes, they need all that for everything. Laser-guided missiles down to your toaster, okay? So it's a lose-lose mess right now. So you're probably thinking, well, that's all crazy, Lark. What do I do, man? Honestly, it's hard to predict how all this plays out. We're always one tweet away from, again, euphoria or devastation. Will Trump pull off his new gambit and create a new financial system like a modern Bretton Woods agreement named after his beach house in Florida, the Mar-A-Lago Accords. May as well just call it the Trump Accords, man. Look, it's anyone's guess. Whether you come out on top or not depends on which side you're on here when the dust settles. Keeping cash flowing businesses going, real estate, things people are always going to need. Sticking to neutral assets might be safer than keeping all of your money in one particular fiat currency. Bitcoin, gold, silver, right? Things not controlled by any particular government, but still recognized as generally stores of value and easily redeemable. These things can weather tariffs and even supply chain breakdowns. Remember, there was no tariff on Bitcoin, right? Now, unlike your traditional mutual funds or traditional equities, all that kind of stuff, which fine, but you're linking yourself to one particular country's economy. Gold, Bitcoin, they really fit the bill perfectly. And I'm a fan of gold, okay? It's been a trusted store of value for a very, very long time. I love having like little gold. They're so nice just holding your hand, man. But Bitcoin, Bitcoin's my jam, man. I love me some Bitcoin. It's scarcer. It's easier to sell. It's a breeze to transport. Okay, no need for an army or a vault or to charter a private jet to move your gold from point A to point B if you're a billionaire, of course. I know what you're thinking, Lark. I have like a few $1,000 to my name. I'm not going to have a ton of gold to move. I might have 1 ounce. All right, I get it. But still, the point holds true, especially when we start talking about nation state adoption, which we're having happening right now. In a changing world, having a plan B might help you sleep a bit better at night. So what is your play in case of a new financial system coming into play, a new world order unfolding? You're going to be holding all your wealth in fiat, gold, Bitcoin, real estate? Let me know. Thanks for watching.